Here with the head coach of the Jamestown Jammers, Anthony Barone. We've been doing get togethers with the players, getting to know the players, getting to know the ownership group, getting to know your right hand man, Hayden Carter. So it's
Yeah.
time that we sit down and get to know the guy that pulls the strings every night for this team. And you do so pretty successfully, in my experience being around you. Talk about your early days in baseball as a player, and maybe we can transition into how that's helped you
Yeah.
become a good head coach.
Well, yeah, my early days, I started playing when I was about 5 or 6 years old, and my dad really got me into the game. I owe everything to him and all the work that we did together with baseball. I just fell in love with the game. I was a youngster living up in Toledo, Ohio, and fell in love with the Detroit Tigers. And a player by the name of Alan Trammell was my favorite
Oh,
player,
yeah,
shortstop,
yeah.
and so I always wanted to be a shortstop when I was a little kid, and we I worked so hard at the game, not only just with baseball but with basketball. My work ethic, I think, was second to none. So throughout my career, I think I've tried, outworking everybody, whether it's as a player, as a coach. I really enjoy just working at the game, and I love it.
Obviously, this takes a lot of hours of work to actually make this stuff happen, and I don't think sometimes people categorize you based on what their knowledge is, but they don't really know the whole story,
Yeah.
what it takes to get to a certain point. And one of the things that I was impressed with for sure, as we've got to know each other better over these last two seasons, is your ability to find guys out there in college that fit a number of criteria, that are certainly have a skill set, but B, also have good character. And I think that's really important. And baseball's a team game.
Yeah.
Everybody has their stars, but in the end, it's a team game. We're sitting here, and I don't know when we're going to air this, but we're sitting here just after the opening night victory.
Yeah.
And the opening night victory was extra innings, and if there was a game that exemplified team,
Yeah.
that was it.
Yeah. First thing I do whenever I recruit the roster is always make sure with the coaching staff I go to, good character guys. It's so important when you have a clubhouse full of 35 young men that you build it with character. That's the first thing and the most important thing. And when I've developed rosters the last couple of years, the other biggest thing I always look for is somebody with a chip on their shoulder, somebody that has something to prove.
Mm-hmm.
I was always sort of that guy that I always wanted to prove everybody wrong. And so when I look at guys, I go through this whole locker room right now. Everybody sort of has something to prove. And I think when you develop a roster at this level, the Collegiate Summer Baseball League, you need to have guys that want to be here, that have something to prove, and ultimately guys that are good kids that just that want to be here, that want to help throughout the community. It helps the organization so much. And ultimately, I'm working for Rock Ventures, MK Sports, out of Milwaukee with Dan Kinsey and Mike Zimmerman, our owner. You want to make them proud too. That's the most important thing. And I'm sure they would tell you the same thing. They always want to win, but they want to represent our organization. And I'm not going to bring in just any guy just because they can play baseball well. It's more than that. So we want to do a good job representing who owns us because they're great people. Mike Zimmerman and Dan and they are outstanding individuals. So we want to make sure we represent them, and I think we're doing a good job of that.
Absolutely. One of the things that I'm impressed with is your ability. You can't look at your roster and say there was a geographic area that you specifically pointed at. Now, you were blessed with the University of Texas San Antonio guys.
Yeah.
How did that relationship start?
Well, I coached my last year of collegiate coaching. I was at Cal State Bakersfield, and back then we were in the Western Athletic Conference where we played University of Texas San Antonio, and I just developed a relationship with Coach Lawler, Coach Blair, Coach Marshall from UTSA, and when I got the job here, I sort of just wanted to continue that, and I knew the style of baseball they played, the type of kids they get. It's a top 100 program in the country, but ultimately they're still not the University of Texas main campus. So we're looking at guys that are still have a chip on their shoulder.
Sure.
You know, they ultimately they must love UTSA, but deep down they probably want to play for UT. You know, just I mean, every kid in Texas probably wants to play for Texas or Rice or Baylor. So these guys are coming with a chip on their shoulder, and the program they run down there, you know, I love the way they play, and so I just sort of kept that relationship, and it's been really good to us.
Yeah. One last thing. Compared to an independent league team where you actually have control of that player and you can do whatever fits your needs that particular night, you still have to communicate with the head coaches if they happen to be pitchers of pitch count or a number of innings, or even with the position players, the kinds of things that you're working with them to help these guys improve on.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. You know, we're trying to, you know, make everybody happy. The players, their programs they're at. Ultimately, you know, we want to win and we want to do what's best for the student athlete. And you know, I'm in constant communication with their coaches. They have the rights to those players.
Sure.
They're on scholarship for them, so we're trying everything to keep them healthy, to keep them safe, to get them better, so we can build that relationship for the upcoming years. And I think we've done a wonderful job with that as well. So, you know, we just continue to, you know. The communication line is the big thing with collegiate summer baseball. You don't want to make anybody upset. You don't want to make, you know, you want to make sure everybody's working together.
All right. Anthony Barone, we talk to you every night. We're going to talk to you after this, by the way, if you happen to be listening to the radio broadcast at the time this one airs. So we thank you for your time.
Well, thanks, Dave.
We'll talk again shortly.
And thank you for everything you do for us.
All right, thanks.